Drawing freehand is great, but if you want to draw a perfect circle, or maybe a straight line, or maybe even a rectangle, those are simple enough. And Storyboard Pro offers us shape tools that work in a very similar way to those that are in Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW. And then there are three basic shape tools to work with: rectangle, ellipse, and line. Now, you can use the shape tools on both bitmap and vector layers. It works exactly the same on each, so it doesn't matter which one we're working on at the moment. And as with other drawing tools, when you select one of the shape tools, the contents of your Tool Properties tab changes. Although in this case, it doesn't change that much. So in order to see your options, if you click and hold over on the left, the default is the rectangle, but if you click and hold, you'll see the three options: rectangle, ellipse, and line. So let's start with rectangle. The basic, just like it seems like, you click and drag, and wherever you let go, a rectangle pops up. The outline color will be whatever color you have chosen. So if we grab the blue color and we draw another rectangle, draw and release, the outline is blue. Very simple. Now, if I hold down the Alt key when I click, it centers the rectangle over the point where I first clicked. So if you're trying to line up a specific way, that helps. If I hold down the Shift key, it keeps it as a perfect square. Now, if I hold down the Alt and the Shift, then it centers a perfect square over the first point where I click. So Alt, Shift, click, and it centers the square right there. All right, so let's change. Let's go over to our ellipse, and let's start a new panel. Ellipse is the same thing. When I click, it's going to click on the edge, and I can make any kind of oval that I want. And as soon as I let go, there the outline shows up as the color that I have chosen. If I want it to be a thicker outline, I simply change the thickness of my line there, and I will click and drag again. When I let go, you can see it's a much thicker line. Now, if I hold down the Alt key, it will form an ellipse directly over the first point, centered over the first point that I chose. If I hold down the Shift and the Alt together, it will make a perfect circle centered around my first point. If I just hold down the Shift, it gives me a circle that's lined up with the edge of where I first clicked. All right, so let's look at our third tool. Third tool is line. Let's go to another new panel. Let's just click red. Why not? Line is pretty simple. I click and I drag. Anywhere I go, I let go, and there's the line. That's pretty thick. Let's make that a bit thinner. If I click and drag the line and I hold down my Shift key, it will limit the line angle to 15 degrees. That way I can keep it straight to wherever I want. If I want it directly horizontal, boom, let go, and it's now a perfect line. If I want to add a curve to it, this is pretty cool. I can click and drag, and then click down my Control key on a PC or Command key on a Mac, and before I let go, I just keep moving my mouse around. And as soon as I let go of my mouse or my pen, there's my curved line. So you can really play with this. So I'm going to click and drag, hit my Control or Command key, and if I don't like where that's looking, I just let go of the Control or Command, and it saves the first point that I selected, and I can reset the second point. Hit the Control or Command, move it around, let go, and there I've got a perfect curve as well. So once you've created a shape, you'll be able to edit that shape with other tools as described in the Edit Drawings chapter, and you can edit the shapes depending on whether or not the shapes are vector or bitmap, whether or not you're just erasing, squashing, stretching, or if it's vector, and you can edit with the nodes.